Hello?
Oh, she said that sound.
Okay, wait a minute. Why? My wife comes and send a message. Your face is going to move. Hello? You know, what's happened?
It's a chunk, but also be a quiet say what? I dare say,
besides, when a friend, I'm so years. You are not testing messages here. And our officer, so I'm trying to tell you, she says, I
mean, so we a guy manu, and may young who could look cry. And so also wants a family drilling company limited for Kana.
What's it then? Family Drilling Company Limited.
Ye two borehole, biofuel, biogas, swimming pool, plumbing works in Naso, ye be, Frey 0240 333 111 and that's 0244 144 822.
Miampa and you want swimming pool me see. Me want to will be here. Family drilling now. Family drilling.
The first is your last shit.
Me out with that shit.
Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Pan African News, live on Pan African Television with me, Ivy, Abena and Dede, Narkie. We are live across 46 African countries and some part of Europe. We are live on Facebook at the moment at Pan African Television. Coming up, 2022 budget approval. First Deputy Speaker reaffirms decision to join majority in forming a quorum. Now, still on the 2022 budget approval, Minority Leader comments on First Deputy Speaker's reaffirmation of its approval. These and many more coming up in the next 1 hour. Don't go anywhere. Now the news in detail. First Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Joseph Osei Owusu, has affirmed the decision to count himself among members of a majority caucus, forming a quorum in the process to approve the 2022 budget. He defended his actions and cited that since the role differed from that of the Speaker of Parliament, he was entitled as a lawmaker to join his caucus to form a quorum.
Few matters, though, which I wish to clarify. First, it must be clear that a deputy speaker is not a speaker. Indeed, Article 96(1) Article 96(1) of the Constitution says, and I quote, there shall be 2 deputy speakers of parliament who shall be elected by members of parliament from among members of parliament. And to contrast that with Mr. Speaker is not a member of parliament. I am a member of parliament. The Honorable Second Deputy Speaker is a member of parliament, and our role is to assist the speaker in managing this house. Anytime any of the deputy speakers or any other member elected to preside is in the chair, that member does not vote. That has never been in dispute. Anytime a member is presiding, either a deputy speaker or a member who by necessity is elected from among members to preside, that person does not vote. When members argue that except otherwise provided in the Constitution, it is clear that it is provided for in Article 2912, where it is required that a decision be made by 2/3 of members. It doesn't mean that we should go to a quorum for. So, honorable members, let me put on record that I am a member of Parliament. I was counted to take the motion, and I defended in this house. What are you doing? You don't rule it. You have to take a decision. I did not vote. Tell me in the family what is for the application. He cannot rule. He cannot rule on a motion. That is before the house. No. How can he rule on a motion? He cannot rule on the motion before the house. How can he rule? So as the family order. Honourable members, sitting is suspended for 1 hour. You are not a speaker.
Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu has commented on the series of events that unfolded in Parliament yesterday. Now, addressing the media, he touched on the decision of the First Deputy Speaker to reaffirm the approval of a 2022 budget. He further revealed that minority will be putting a series of measures in place to hold the majority accountable.
Anyway, this afternoon press conference is a simple one. Is to remind President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo that the people of Ghana did not vest the governance of this country in his person alone as President of the Republic. They gave him a mandate as Executive President to work in tandem for the good of the Ghanaian people with the Parliament of Ghana, making it a hang. Today we have been told that deputy speakers are not speakers. Our standing orders have been set aside. Any of you here, open your standing order and read the definition of speaker. It includes deputy speakers and persons presiding, as is expected of them under Article 102 of the Constitution. When you hear the Constitution, and go to the record, I have used it on the floor of Parliament. When you hear the Constitution say, except otherwise as provided in the Constitution, those of us who understand constitutional law, it operates as a limitation that in the exercise of that authority and mandate, have respect to other provisions of the Constitution. In any case, is it our minority they want to teach Article 104? Go to the record. I, on Thursday, 25th, stated on the floor of Parliament, reminding Speaker Bagben that tomorrow, Friday, I will invoke Article 104 of the Constitution. At that time, as boastful and arrogant as they have been, they said they will populate it. So today you have seen what population does. The first Deputy Speaker simply abandoned putting a question on a motion and opted to give a ruling. He didn't rule on a motion. The motion was accommodated. The motion was seconded. It was debated. All he needed to do was for the House to decide. But they knew that on their side, their numbers were not enough. It's to remind President Akufo-Addo and the majority leader that majority in Parliament is majority present and voting, not majority outside the presence, the chamber, in the skies. No, members present and voting.
Away from that, the Upper East Regional Caucus in Parliament has appealed to chiefs, opinion leaders and residents in Boko to foster peace and unity amidst disturbances in the area. Now, addressing the media, Member of Parliament for Bulsanoff, James Agalga, called for calm among residents.
Conflict is not new. This conflict has been with us for a very long time, since the early 1950s. As members of the Upper East, Parliamentary Caucus, we are very much concerned about happenings in Boko. Following the eruption of the conflict, sometime around the 21st of November, the Minister of the Interior imposed a curfew on Boko and its environs. As we speak, relative calm has been restored to Boko, but we still deem it fit and necessary to address the media and call for calm in Boko. Boko, if you know Boko, it's a commercial town which borders Togo to the east and Burkina Faso to the north. So the strategic location of Boko makes it the hub of trade in the Upper East, and if you like, Ghana. And so when there is a conflict in Boko, it affects all of us. So as the representatives of the people in the Upper East region, we wish to seize this opportunity to appeal to the chiefs, opinion leaders, civil society groups, and all who matter in Boko to work very hard towards fostering peace and unity. Law enforcement agencies have been deployed following the imposition of curfew. They have done their utmost best in ensuring that some relative calm has returned to Boko. And so we want to congratulate, want to thank them for their efforts. The Regional Security Council, chaired by the Honorable Regional Minister, appear to have a handle on the matter. We would encourage them to continue to work very hard, bring the feuding factions together, resort to negotiations. I am aware in times past, the Peace Council was very effective in bringing the feuding factions in Boko to the negotiating table. It's not too late, and so we would appeal to all to resort to peaceful means in resolving the conflict in Boko. There can never be a winner or a loser in armed conflict. And so this is the direct appeal we, the members of the Upper East Regional Caucus, would want to make, and our sympathizers, of course, to the good people of Boko. What is even makes it very compelling for there to be unity in Boko is because the people in Boko are so interrelated. They are family. Oftentimes we hear about Kusasis and Momprusis, but you see these people are the same. In terms of their language, in terms of their culture, they are about the same people. And so there is no need for us to, there are so many intermarriages, and so you find that in Boko, in every household, you find somebody of Momprusi extraction, or if you trace the lineage of the person, you find that the person is half-blooded Momprusi and Kusasi at the same time. And so with the intermarriages, it is needless for us to resort to armed conflict at this point in time.
The Minister for Railways Development, John Peter Amewu, has outlined some measures taken by government to revamp Ghana's railway system. Now, in an interaction with the media, he catalogued plans aimed at revitalization the sector and indicated how they will accelerate socio-economic development.
As you may be aware, government has developed a railway master plan to serve as a guide for the fulfillment of the ministry's mandate to systematically modernize and expand the railway network in the country, starting with the rehabilitation of the existing narrow gauge. However, due to the level of deterioration of the old narrow gauge network and its corresponding high cost of rehabilitation, a policy decision was taken by the government not to rehabilitate the entire network, but instead only limit sections from Accra through Tema to Nsawam on the eastern line, and secondly Takoradi through Kojo-Krom to Takwa on the western line. This is to keep the system running with the existing fleet of narrow gauge roll stock, while steps are taken to reconstruct and expand the whole network based on the new standard gauge system. My very good friends of the media, ladies and gentlemen, the Western Line, which is from Takoradi to Kumasi, with a branch line from Dunkwa to Awaso, used to be a major route for transportation of major minerals and other bulk commodities like manganese, bauxite, cocoa, timber, cement, petroleum products, mining equipment, and others. The haulage of these commodities by rail reduces the challenges of using the road transport, which causes road deterioration. Unfortunately, due to the several decades of neglect and underfunding, the Western Line is completely broken down, except for partial freight services on the Takoradi-Nsuta section, which is used for the haulage and export of manganese through the Takoradi port. Fortunately, in 2017, government budgetary support was provided for the rehabilitation of sections of the existing narrow gauge Western Line from Kojo Krom to Takwa through Nsuta to facilitate the efficient haulage of manganese from the mines in Nsuta to the port of Takoradi, and also to facilitate passenger services. The rehabilitation project was completed in January 2020 under my predecessor, Honorable Joe Gatti, and the passenger service was reintroduced from Takoradi to Takwa for the first time since 2007. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, apart from the rehabilitations of the Takoradi-Nsuta narrow gauge line, the standard gauge line is also being developed. Firstly, the construction of the 22 kilometers Kojo Krom to Manso section of the Western Line, which is commenced in 2018 with funding by the government of Ghana, is currently 72% complete. This project is expected to be fully completed and handed over by the contractor, Amandi Holdings, to the government in the second quarter of 2022.
Now, still on our local front, the Kaneshie District Court has rescinded its bench warrant issued on November 29, 2021 for the arrest of Madina MP Francis Xavier Susu. Now, this comes after his lawyers filed an application for an order to rescind the warrant issued by the court.
Later's legal team also filed for a stay of execution at the High Court to set aside the bench warrant issued on November 29, 2021. On Wednesday, the Madina MP, together with some members of the minority in Parliament, attended court over the case of unlawful blockage of public roads and destruction of public property by members of the Madina constituency during a street protest he organized. He was accompanied by Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu, former Deputy Attorney General, Dr. Kwabena Ayine, MP for Ododo-Diodio, Neelante Vanderpoy, Ranking Member on Parliament Defence and Interior Committee, James Agalga, Techiman MP, Elizabeth Ofosu-Ejare, among others. After proceedings, the court rescinded its initial directive and adjourned the next hearing to January 12, 2022. Francis Xavier Susu had failed to be in court on two several occasions due to some parliamentary duties outside the country, as communicated by his legal team. The legislator was for the third time absent in court as a result of his presence on the Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee, which was considering memoranda from the public in respect of the promotion of proper human rights and Ghanaian Family Values Bill 2021. This resulted in prosecutor ASP Sylvester Asare praying for a warrant to be issued for his arrest because an MP cannot send someone to represent him in a criminal matter. The magistrate handling the matter, Ohineba Kufo, after hearing his submission, issued a warrant for the arrest of the Madina MP.
Still on a local front, the Socialist Movement of Ghana has endorsed the conduct of elections in Venezuela as free, fair, transparent, and also congratulated the PSUV on its resounding victory. Now I'll read the excerpt of the release, and it says, statement on regional and municipal elections in Venezuela dated 30th November 2021. The Standing Committee of the Socialist Movement of Ghana, SMG, has received the report of General Secretary of our movement, who served as an observer in the regional and municipal elections in Venezuela on November 21, 2021. It has also taken full account of media and other reports of the election and come to the firm conclusion that the election was free, fair, and transparent. Media monitoring of election campaigning and propaganda showed clearly that no party or candidate had an unfair advantage in terms of media access. The process of auditing the at least 54% of electronic votes by manually checking them against vote receipts also guarantee the fairness and transparency of election. All international election observers have also confirmed that none of the witnesses of the political parties which took part in the elections has complained about any irregularities in the conduct of the elections. It continues by saying, in the light of these, the Socialist Movement of Ghana endorses the result of the elections and congratulates the PSUV on its resounding victory. The elections have once more dented claims by forces of imperialism and via local lackeys that Venezuela is currently under the yoke of a dictatorship. It has also completely shattered the vile propaganda which has become the basis of the aggressive acts against the government and people of Venezuela by the United States of America and its allies. The continued imposition of sanctions against Venezuela, which is subverting the national economy and worsening the living and working conditions of the working people, is unjustified. We call on all the people of Venezuela and the different political parties and fascists to unite around the central issue of building a new Venezuela which controls its own resources and exploits them for the benefit of the Venezuelans. Victory is inevitable for the people of Venezuela, signed by Blaise Tulofo, General Secretary for the Socialist Movement of Ghana. Now, away from that, the head of corporate affairs of the NIA, Abdul Janiyu, has given reasons why the Ghana card was chosen for the SIM card re-registration process over the identification cards. There's more in the following report.
Something that is provided by law. If you go to the LI 211 of the National Identification Register, it provides what we call the mandatory uses of the Ghana card. And those mandatory uses include SIM card registration. So if you want to purchase a SIM card for use in Ghana, then it is mandatory that you use the Ghana card to go through the process. So that is the law. In fact, even for the purposes of voting in this country, again, the Ghana card is a requirement for obtaining a voter ID card or going through the electioneering process in our country. So to that extent, it is what the law provides. And then you also look at a national ID as being for all Ghanaians, irrespective of age. But you look at a voter ID, not for all Ghanaians, but for persons who are eligible to vote. So if you talk about a national ID, it is the Ghana card and no other card, because all other cards only serves what we call sectoral purposes. If you take SNIT, for instance, I don't know whether you have the SNIT biometric card. If you have the SNIT biometric card, then it is because you are an employee and your employers are obliged to pay your social security to SNIT, so on and so forth. But for another person who is not a subscriber of SNIT, the person doesn't get to get what we call the SNIT biometric card. So that doesn't still make the SNIT card a national ID. Do you get my point? When it comes to health insurance, if you do not subscribe to the national health insurance system of our country, which is managed by the National Health Insurance Authority, you don't go for that card, isn't it? right? But the Ghana card is for all Ghanaians from age 0 to infinity. You must be a Ghanaian. So that's why the law then focuses on the Ghana card, which does not have any sectoral purpose, but simply serves as an identity document for all Ghanaians, irrespective of your age. So that is the reason why you would have the Ghana card being the only requirement for the SIM card re-registration.
Now let's wrap up on our local front. Ghana has taken delivery of 12 million for 342,710 vaccines since the outbreak of COVID-19 in 2019. Now, according to the Ghana Health Service, there has also been an increase of the number of Ghanaians, with 42,000 being vaccinated within a day.
Spike in cases of COVID-19, which has reached alarming levels. Government has declared December as the month of vaccination to bring the situation under control. In an interaction with the media, Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Patrick Kumabuache, explained that 5,451,291 Ghanaians have been fully vaccinated so far. He also explained that they are expecting more vaccines into the country and urged Ghanaians to fully cooperate with the strategies set for them.
So far, as you are aware, we have about 5 vaccines registered in the country: AstraZeneca, Moderna, Pfizer, Sputnik V, and Johnson & Johnson. How many have we received so far? Since the beginning of the pandemic, we have received about 12,327 doses of vaccines of various types. AstraZeneca accounting for about 45% of all received, Johnson & Johnson 19%, Moderna 10%, Pfizer 24%, and Sputnik V 0.2%. So that is what vaccines we have currently in stock. But in the last 4 weeks, we have received a significant number of vaccines. As the chart shows, you can see the numbers that has come in. But in the last 4 weeks, we had a significant number of inflows of vaccines. That's why you see that our stock level is still high, because they have just arrived. But what's the pipeline? The pipeline also assures us of more than 7.4 million doses that are supposed to come in between now and probably December. And we may even get more than what is. This is what we know, but we also get others that come in over time. And that will take us about 20 million doses of vaccines that we have received in the country before the end of the year. What is left is for us to take it.
That's all on our local front. Coming up next, X Business.
African Center for Capacity Building, AFCA, organizes the following executive and advanced certificate programs, like Executive Certificate in Project Management, Executive Certificate in Human Resource Management, Executive Certificate in Real Estate and Property Management, Executive Certificate in Data and Records Keeping, Executive Certificate in Monitoring and Evaluation, Executive Certificate in Logistics and Transport Management, Executive Certificate in CCTV Monitoring and Installation. AFCA, where capacity building is our priority. For registration and enquiries, please call 0244-405047, 0242-135523. We have our branches in Accra, Tamale, Kumasi, and Wa. Saturdays and weekdays sessions are available. Admission is still in progress. Enroll now. Join the African professionals. AFCAP, where capacity building is our priority.
It's incredible. Bang on target.
Thank you for choosing to stay with us. You're welcome to Pan African News. This is the business segment of the news. Now, Minister for Agriculture, Dr. Owusu Akoto, has reassured citizens of government's commitment on its digitalization drive to spearhead technologically agriculture to empower farmers through e-agriculture. The e-agriculture system is a platform that enables agricultural experts, farmers, and community members to change opinions and resources relating to agriculture for mutual gain.
This system is hinged on delivering agricultural information and knowledge services such as market prices, extension services, technology, policies, programs and projects using the internet and its related technologies. The mission of leveraging technology in all sectors, including agriculture, has birthed the e-agriculture project that seeks to ensure efficient delivery of services to farmers and also actors along the agricultural value chain to enhance productivity and output for greater profitability. Dr. Effiye Akoto emphasized that the e-levy is an important strategy for accelerating our efforts towards the realization of modernization and transformation agenda for agriculture to contribute to the objectives of job creation, food security, and poverty reduction. He indicated that hikes in prices on the international market on agricultural products such as fertilizers and agrochemicals, both of which were critical to achieving the transformational agenda, as challenges. Dr. Effiye Akoto assured that his ministry is working tirelessly to stabilize the agricultural situation in the country and will continue working with private sector and other development partners to deliver and transform an agenda which will ensure food security and build a resilient food systems and support farmers in particular.
The Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research has proposed to government to reduce the 1.75 electronic transaction levy to 0.5 and 0.75. This, the institution claims, will reduce the public resistance and yield significant results.
The director of ISA, Professor Peter Kwate, has proposed a reduction in the rate for e-levy taxes from 1.75% to 0.75%, indicating that the proposed rate from the institution will face less resistance from the public and also yield significant revenue for national development. He explained further that, though the policy is a good one, the government should embark on stakeholder consultations to get the e-levy reviewed. Prof. Kwate indicated that the proposed levy of 0.5% to 0.75% will be minimal. Although people might complain, they will still enjoy the service and then gradually get the revenue and over time review it if you need to increase the levy. Speaking on the monetary sector, he said the government ought to promote production to boost supply of goods to curtail inflation. Mr. Kwate also called for a dialogue in Parliament between the majority and the minority to prevent the eroding of investor confidence and also keep the exchange rate relatively stable.
Coming up is stories from our international partners. The People's Dispatch. Don't go anywhere.
nyanyigba kokwe kekiaka kama kata fi maupong dodo de shalo gomodejo nyimba la kama ko to Israel ibe jugan ko Jerusalem afi akoma nyinwo le gbogbo mo nsan tutudo ngoma de so munya na ko gbogbo mo nsan le anya Dr. Benet Ajako fi JP Benet Ajako fi mai Israel atradi be ko nsan le nsaji akodo joyo le shekina heba pini kumasi to na jogom le kumasi amakom le ipi poji ipi church kumasi amakom December 1st and 2nd December fa ka bankla velia kura dokle yawra gba to le December ma na vaklo kukio dole jagla dole masetumo gbogbo ko mu china me nyakata nya ko we ni nya ko doyo shalom.
Now let's do some international news. Trade unions, progressive parties and civil society groups met in Geneva on the morning of November 13 to show their support for the TRIPS waiver proposal for COVID-19 medical products, which was submitted to the WTO last year by the government of South Africa and India. Now, the activists plan to organize around the WTO's 12th ministerial conference, which was supposed to take place from November 30 to December 3.
While MC12 was called off after several European countries started imposing travel bans because of the Omicron variant of COVID-19, civil society opted to go forward with their plans, showing a strong commitment to making vaccines and other medical products accessible to everyone. The day of action began with a joint press conference by the organizations present in Geneva and those who were forced to remain at home because of the travel ban, and continued through a series of actions that culminated in a series of decentralized protests in different countries. About the connection between the travel ban and vaccine appetite, Fatima Hassan from Health Justice International said it only took hours for rich countries to impose a travel ban in several places in Africa. It is taking them more than a year to support the TRIPS waiver proposal, a proposal that will allow us to ramp up vaccine production and make COVID-19 vaccines accessible to all those who need them. The coordinators of the Day of Action recognize the appearance of Omicron as a direct consequence of rich countries' avoidance of support to the waiver. Speaking for the network, award is not for sale. Deborah James warned that it is the current situation of the vaccine appetite that is facilitating the development of new variant, and that WTO should not be the one to determine our ability to make vaccines accessible to everyone. The European Union, the United Kingdom, Norway and Switzerland continue to oppose the TRIPS waiver, but they are now facing growing resistance both internationally and at home, according to Mark Botenga from the left in the European Parliament and Stefani Prezioso from the Swiss Left Party Ensemble à Gauche. According to Botenga, the people managed to pressure the European Parliament to vote in favor of the waiver, proving that power relations can be shifted if we fight together. Prezioso pointed out that the current state of affairs could not go on for much longer, and that it is time for rich countries to take on responsibility for a quick resolution of the pandemic. Roman Vega, the new global coordinator of the People's Health Movement, warned that many are dying all around the world because of the pandemic response that was adopted in the global north, while we definitely need a TRIPS waiver to put a stop to this.
Thousands of Bolivians who undertook a 180 km and 7-day-long journey on foot from the town of Caracolo in the Oruro department under the banner of March of the Homeland arrived in the capital city La Paz on November 29. Now, the historic march, which was organized in defense of democracy and in support of President Luis Arce's government, concluded with a massive rally at the San Francisco Plaza in La Paz.
Over 1.5 million workers, Women, students, and peasants from across Bolivia joined the rally in the capital and expressed their approval of the national government of the ruling movement towards Socialism Party and their rejection of the destabilization attempt by the far-right opposition sectors. Holding national flags, indigenous Wifala flags, placards demanding justice for Sakaba and Senkanta massacres victims, respect for the 2020 election result, rejecting coup attempt by the right-wing forces. Hundreds of thousands of Bolivians flooded the plaza and the surrounding streets for several blocks. The march was presided over by the former president and the current head of MAS, Evo Morales. It was led by the Pact of Unity, a national alliance and grassroots organizations, and the Central Obrera Boliviana. The march was presided over by former president and the current head of MAS, Evo Morales. It was led by the Pact of Unity, a national alliance of grassroots organizations, and the Central Obrera Boliviana, the country's trade union center. Numerous social movements, trade union federations of different sectors, neighborhood associations, popular organizations, which are not affiliated with the Pact of Unity and the COB, also joined the march and the rally. President Ak addressed the massive march and thanked the citizens for their overwhelming support. He stressed that the unity of the people is an indispensable requirement to advance in the construction of the country and the economy. There are requirements to continue advancing in the construction of our state, in the construction of the economy, for all the homes of Bolivian families. That essential requirement, sisters and brothers, is what you have shown in the march, in this rally, and that is unity of the Bolivian people, he said. The head of state promised to continue working to rebuild the country and the economy with the people. We listen to the voice of the people. We maintain that line. We know that the mandate is from you to us. We are never going to abandon you or to make policies against you. As the people have always shown, today like always, they have not let us down or abandoned us, said Ak.
That's all on our international front. Credit to our international partners. The People's Dispatch Sports News is next. Let's do sports. Badminton, a racket sport played using racket to hit a shuttlecock across a net and often played as a casual outdoor activity in a yard or on a bench. Now, most common forms of the game are singles, which is played with one player per side, and the doubles, which is played with two players per side. Today, in the world of sports, our sports desk takes a look at sports and its presence in Ghana.
Are played on a rectangular indoor court. Points are scored by striking a shuttlecock once before it passes over the net. Play ends once the shuttlecock has struck the floor or if a fault has been called by the umpire, service charge, or the opposing side. Badminton is derived directly from Pune, which was played by British Army officers stationed in India in the 1860s. The Badminton World Federation was formed in 1934. The first BWF's World Championship was held in 1977. A number of regional, national, and zonal badminton tournaments are held in several countries. In Ghana, it is classified as a lesser-known sport, or perhaps not known to many. The Ghana Badminton Association, which was established in 1972, has Department for Development, Events, Membership, and Coaching. It closely works with the regions in collaboration with 52 community clubs, schools, colleges, and universities. The association also works with corporate sponsors to host events locally and internationally to develop podium, professional players, technical officials and coaches. Badminton Ghana has chalked much success since its establishment. The Ghana badminton team won gold and silver medals at the 2008 Badminton Championship held in Egypt.
Still in the world of sports, Ghanaian international boxer Isaac Dede has been warned not to make an attempt of fighting WBO featherweight champion Emmanuel Navarrete for the third time.
How many believe Dede is ready to challenge for the featherweight title? Boxing ring official Teye Papu has advised the 27-year-old to avoid the division's champion Emmanuel Navarrete. Dede's career took a major hit following two successive defeats to Navarrete in 2018. He lost his WBO Super Bantamweight title to the Mexican following a one-sided bout in December that year. It was the first professional defeat in the career of the Ghanaian after he lost by unanimous decision to his opponents. Dede has since recovered from the setback by recording an 8-round victory by way of knockout against Chris Avalos in July last year. Last week, Dede chalked another impressive victory when he defeated Puerto Rican boxer Christopher Diaz by majority decision.
Up next is entertainment news. Let's do some entertainment. Festivals celebrated for a wide variety of reasons by most ethnic groups in Ghana are usually associated with singing, drumming, dancing and firing of musketry. On our showbiz segment today, we'll shift our attention on the field, which is celebrated by the people of Busa.
The Fiok Festival is celebrated in the third week of December each year to commemorate the defeat of the Zambaramba slave raiders led by a man named Babatu in the 1880s. Fiok in the local Buli dialect means an abundance of food. Celebrants of the festival express thanks to God, their ancestors and the earth shrines for seeing them through another year and a successful farming season. War dancers representing various villages are given the floor to exhibit their skills. Armed with shields, spears, short axes, bows and arrows, they recreate battle scenes from the past to revive the historic exploits of the brave Busa warriors who fought and defeated the notorious Zambaramba slave raiders on 3 occasions. There are other games such as archery, wrestling, soccer, singing, drumming and dancing, and occasional drama. Natives who are far from home usually come to celebrate the festival with their families. This enables family members who have not seen themselves in a while to see themselves again. If there are family issues, they are discussed and settled. This event reunites the people and brings peace within their communities. It also serves as a means of fundraising to renovate and develop the towns and educate them on various subjects and culture. On the final day of the celebration, a grand durbar, chaired by the paramount chief, is held in Sandima with all chiefs of Busa, natives, invited dignitaries and tourists in attendance. Fiok is enjoyed by many and continues to live as one of Ghana's celebrated festivals.
Well, that's all for this afternoon's bulletin. This news was brought to you live from our studios here, 48 Swanika Street, Abena, Ghana. Do join us this evening on Newsbreak for more news updates. Follow us on all social media platforms, on Facebook at Pan-African Television, on Instagram at Pan-African Television, and on Twitter at Pan-African Television. Ivy Abena, Dede, Narkie signing out. Do enjoy the rest of our programs.
Hello?
Oh, she's here now.
Okay, wait a minute. Why?